Shalom, 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 first and foremost. Giving infinite praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Bashim El Shah Bashim Hakodash. Giving double honors to our apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutation to you, sincere Akims across the four winds. Pushing this truth as a city of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasam Gan from a DC camp. Coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim El Shah Bashim Hakodash. Defeat the elect. Right quick. These are top stories going on right now. Very, very critical information that you need to be aware of as us, the prophets of Israel, right? Yasha Allah in the Hebrew, Israel, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are bringing you the news, blowing the trumpet, position at the watchtower, man. So this is another episode of the Watchtower. And this is about Australian truckers strike, all right? And it's pretty much everywhere right now, man. I mean, something really big is getting ready to take place in Australia. As you already know, Australia has been, the land that the elites have decided to fully implement the New World Order and to kind of see what the reaction is going to be like and what you're going to witness in Australia in the next up and coming days is exactly what you're going to witness, not only here in Babylon, aka the United States, and across the world. Okay, so you definitely keep your eyes on Australia and what's getting ready to take place over there. It's going to be total madness and chaos. So you have, out of this is 9 News, it says thousands of truck drivers around Australia to strike for 24 hours this Friday in toll contract dispute. Truck drivers across Australia to strike at midnight, causing major disruption. All right. And let me see. I clicked on. This is news.com. AU. It says brave action. Thousands of toll truckies to walk off the job across Australia amid crisis talk. It says thousands of fed-up Australian truck drivers will walk off the job today, causing more turmoil for the nation's COVID-hit delivery network. Right, the main reason why they're doing the strike is due to the the COVID and the jab and everything that's going on. They're not with it, and as you know, in Australia, the government is so strict. The laws in Australia are so draconian. I mean, they're talking about, man, you can't, they don't want you outside. They don't want you, they literally said they don't want you talking to anybody. They really want you by yourself, not talking to anyone, they'll give you permission to be outside for 2 or 3 hours, just, for shopping purposes, exercise, and just a little bit of sunlight. And then, you're supposed to be out. So it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. They're going hard over there, man. The elites, the Rothschilds, the Rockefeller, man, the international bankers, so-called Illuminatis, man, the New World Order, man, they're going hard over there on Australia. And it's definitely testing ground for what we get ready to witness here in the U.S. It says thousands of toll truck drivers will launch strike action on Friday after crisis talks between the transport union and the logistic giant failed to reach an agreement. The 24-hour strike will throw a major spanner into the works of an already chaotic COVID-hit supply chain. The Transport Workers Union earlier claimed the decision to take action was made after Toll refused to withdraw its attack on jobs, rights, and entitlements at crisis talks on Tuesday. Which really, I mean, all of that, to be honest, because I've been listening to the sources, and the sources are saying that all of that, all of those things that they're talking about is really related to C-19. All right. It says the move could disrupt food, fuel, and parcel supplies over the weekend as 7,000 drivers walk off the job. But the TWU had promised this would not influence the supply of vaccines and essential medical goods. The decision to strike came after months of failed talks after a bargaining agreement collapsed. Workers are demanding more job security and better wages. All right. So let me see. I'm gonna keep reading. It says toll workers need guarantees that they won't be sliced and diced, Qantas style, and replaced by a cut price. Underemployed workforce, TWU National Security, Michael Caine said. They don't want to go on strike, especially during the pandemic, but they must because they have everything to lose. All right, so I mean that's what's going on. I'm gonna keep reading. It says the logistic company hit back saying it was disappointed. It was disappointed workers were striking in the middle of the COVID crisis. Toll's Global Express Division President Alan Beckham said he agreed employees deserve a pay raise. We put a dangerous offer on the table. I say dangerous, Salakia. We put a generous offer on the table and are committed to further discussion, he said. Industrial action only benefits the TWU, who like to show off in front of their union mates. It hurts employees and it hurts our business. Let's stop wasting time. Let's get back to negotiating table and sign a deal. So a lot of things are breaking down, and if you know anything about truckers, man, I mean, they're responsible for the society running the way it runs, especially when you talk about medical supply, food supply, and fuel supply. All right. So what I did, I went to Google and I was looking at the effects, man. What are some of the effects that you should expect unless in case of a trucker strike? All right. So right here, as you see right here, it says if trucks stopped. All right. So I'm gonna zoom in. It says 24 hours. So these are the things that you should expect if you have a trucker strike. All right. Wherever you are. Okay. It says delivery of medical supplies to the affected area will cease. Hospitals will run out of basic supplies. Service stations will begin to run out of fuel. Manufacturers using just-in-time manufacturing will develop component shortages. U.S. mail and other package delivery will cease. Within 1 day, food shortages will begin to develop. Automobile fuel availability and delivery will dwindle, leading to skyrocketing prices and long lines at gas pumps. So by the second and third day, food shortages will escalate, especially in the face of hoarding and consumer panic. Supplies of essentials such as bottled water, powdered milk, and canned meat at major retailers will disappear. ATMs will run out of cash and banks will be unable to process transactions. Service stations will completely run out of fuel. Garbage will start piling up in urban and suburban areas. Container ships will sit idle in ports and rail. Transport will be disrupted, eventually coming to a standstill. This is 3 days. This is within 3 days, man. Then after a week, 7 days, automobile travel will cease due to lack of fuel. So you can, like, when you see movies like The Book of Eli, you see movies like The Road, especially The Road. You see those cars lined up on the side of the road, and you're thinking, well, that might have taken months. You can have a whole bunch of cars lined up on the side of the road now being used, but within the matter of 7 days. Within 7 days, you can already have society looking like apocalyptic out here, man. 7 days. It says after a week, automobile travel will cease due to lack of fuel. Hospitals will begin to exhaust oxygen supplies. Now, 14 days, the second week, clean water supply will begin to run dry. And that's when you start seeing pestilence and major diseases, major diseases and death. So 2 weeks, 13 to 14 days. It says after the fourth week, after a month, the nation's clean water supply will be exhausted. See, and it makes sense now because we always talk about when all hell breaks loose, things can go really fast. And it is so true. I mean, when things really hit the fan, I would not be shocked. When I just look at this right here, I wouldn't be shocked if when all hell breaks loose, man, within a year and a half, man, you know what I'm saying, we could be out of here. In 4 weeks, society would totally collapse, man. 4 weeks. You know, of course, you would have emergency, situations. You know, the politicians would call for emergency supplies. You'll probably have international help and all that. The kind of help lasts for a couple more months. But a year and a half, there's no way you can sustain these societies that we have in 2021, you know what I'm saying, for more than a year and a half without international help. I'm talking about with international help, you can sustain a collapse in society in 2021 in the first world. I'm talking about this is first world problems, because in the third world it's different. The third world operates differently. You know how they get their food supplies and everything. They got lakes, they can fish. They got trees with fruits. They can just walk around and just grab fruits and shit. We don't have that up here on the first world, man. So that's why people look at this society and they fall in love with the skyscrapers and all that, man. Listen, you don't understand this. When this thing collapses, it's gonna be crazy. All right. So now let me go to Jeremiah chapter 28. Jeremiah chapter 28 and 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war, of evil. Evil is bad times, and pestilence. Those are diseases, man. And we coming into the time of major pestilence. All right. What else do I have? And this is the main reason why you're going to get pestilence, man. And this is why it's so important to understand what will happen in case of a trucker strike, man. Even the scripture speaks to you about the basic importance of life. All right. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus of the Apocrypha, chapter 29, verse 21. The chief things for life is water and bread and clothing and a house to cover shame. So when the truck stops, you start dealing with lack of water, like we read, lack of bread, right? So all hell is breaking loose at this point. That's when after 13 days, people turn to straight up cannibalism, man. Cannibalism is going to come, and it's going to come quickly, and it's going to be really, really devastating. And you're going to see some craziness out here, man. You're going to witness some craziness. This is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. And this is the warning to the nation of Israel. All right, beginning with the tribe of Judah on down to the tribe of Issachar, so-called Negroes, which is the tribe of Judah, all the way down to Issachar, so-called Mexicans. Isaiah chapter 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel but not of me. So you looking for answers for what's going on in the world right now, but you're not taking counsel from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, through his men. Because the Heavenly Father speaks through his prophets, the men at the watchtowers. It says, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Right, so instead of being covered by the blood of the Lamb, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, you want to be covered behind the devil that the Bible speaks of, Edom, Esau, that beast, that man beast, all right, in his image, and ultimately his mark, which is the mark of the beast, all right, which is the RFID microchip. That's the covering that 2/3 out of the nation of Israel is going to run towards. But the elect, the 144,000, the 1/3, they're going to be under the covering of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt. Modern day Egypt is the United States of America. Just look in the back of your dollar. You got the pyramid with the all-seeing eye. You have the Horus, the god Horus. You know what I'm saying? In the dollar, which is a talisman. It's an Egyptian talisman. So, you know, come on, man. You have the Washington Monument, which is an obelisk that goes back to ancient Egypt. It says, verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. The mouth of the Lord is his prophets, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Right. You rather trust in modern day Pharaoh, which the modern day Pharaoh is the Edomites and the leaders, so-called president, somebody like Joe Biden He's a modern day Pharaoh, sitting out there giving you all types of confidence because a bomb went off over there in Afghanistan. So you'll sit there, he'll stand there just like Bush did over 20 years ago, talking about, so we gonna hunt them down and they're gonna pay and this and this and that. And you simple-headed Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans sitting there like, yeah, we're gonna get it. Who the fuck is we? You know what I'm saying? Who is we gonna get them? Who is we gonna get those terrorists? Your black ass gonna be in some coffins in the next upcoming months because you took your jab, so now your immune system is shot. So you exposed to anything that's gonna come down this winter. You're gonna be in a damn plastic coffin, man. All thanks to the Pharaoh that you believe so much. All right. And I'm gonna close with this. This is Job chapter 5, verse 17. Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. See, the elect are being corrected. We being judged right now. You know, we getting our judgment up front. You know what I'm saying? It's a soft judgment, but it's up front, so we can get deliverance later. But you know, the majority of Israel, they walking around and think that everything is cool, but they're gonna get their judgment when this shit hit the fan. And then when that judgment comes, they're gonna suffer the second death. A lot of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, Israelites, you're gonna suffer the second death, which is ultimately the thermonuclear missiles that's gonna be shot up in this upcoming Third World War. Verse 18, for he maketh sore and bindeth up, he woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. So the hopeful elect, we ain't got to worry about nothing, man. We just got to stay in faith, stay in the faith, stay in this truth, continue to push this word. You know, get our house in order, and wait for Yahweh Shah, man. All right. Verse 20, it says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. So we're not worried about, you know what I'm saying, the death and destruction that's coming. We understand it's the judgment of the Lord. But the creatures, while some creatures is going to be out here eating niggas alive, you going to have creatures out here coming to us to be slain and be eaten so we can survive. Think about that, man. Kal halal Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom salutation to you, says Alchemist calls for winds pushing this truth is the city of heart, because I'm God from the DC camp, saying Shalom.